Hello, my name is Charlie, and I was a cop on the West Virginia Police Force for a small town called Lost Creek. Had a pretty quiet town, nothing really went on here. Till one night, old lady Ruth called the station telling us there was light coming from the old Henderson place. Now my partner Rick and I figured it was just some of the local kids up there screwing around because it was a known hangout for them. So we told the chief we would take a ride up there. Little did we know that this would be the changing point for both of our lives. As we pulled up to the old farmhouse, we noticed the light on in the top bedroom of the house, and we saw a shadow go across the back wall. So we radioed back to the station and told dispatch what was going on and that we would be away from the car. 10-4, car 56, dispatch said back. The night air was so still, so quiet, nothing was moving. It gave us both the chills and put us a little on edge, because it wasn't normal for there to be no sound whatsoever in these parts of the woods. So I had my hand on my holster as we walked to the front of the door. I boasted in a loud voice,
"This is the Lost Creek Police Department. Come out with your hands up. We are entering the property."
Just then we heard this blood-curdling scream. I looked at Rick and I busted the door down and said again, "This is the Lost Creek Police Department. Come out with your hands up." Just then we heard a thud coming from upstairs. So we rushed up the stairs and started to slowly open up the doors. There were 3 doors, so I took the one on the left and Rick took the one in front of the stairs. As I was clearing the first room, Rick had moved to the third room. All of a sudden Rick yells, "Charlie, get in here now!" So I turned around and ran full speed down the hall to the last room, my gun drawn, ready to take someone down. But there was no one there, but a dead body hung from the rafters like a scarecrow. She even had a crown of thorns on her head. She was cut open, so all her organs were hanging out. I threw up everywhere. It was the worst thing I had ever seen. Rick calls it in to the station as I compose myself, and I say, "We need to search this place from top to bottom." So we both go and investigate the whole house, and we find nothing. No one was in the house at all. All the doors were locked, all the windows were intact, and the only footprints in the house were ours. Rick turns to me and says, "Charlie, how did this happen? There is no trace of anyone ever being here, but that woman is only minutes old." Rick, I have no idea. We gave the house one more look through and still found nothing. So we had to leave and file our reports. The next day I went back to the house and I went back to the room. I sat on the floor and closed my eyes so I could just get a feel for the space around me. It's an old trick I learned back in the academy. So I breathed in and I breathed out a few times, relaxing myself. Nothing was moving in the house at all. Then all of a sudden, I heard a in the walls. I popped up like a jackrabbit getting lucky on a Tuesday night. I heard the again. It was coming from the inside the closet. I thought that was strange because we looked in that yesterday and found nothing. So I opened the closet door and I seen a light coming from behind the wall. I acted like I didn't see anything and said, "Well, guess there's nothing here. Must have been a rat." I went outside to the car and called Rick to get to the farmhouse ASAP. I found something. Turns out Rick was already on his way because he pulled in just as I called him. "What did you find, partner?" there is a hidden door in the back bedroom in the closet, and someone is in there. So we went into the room, and I busted through the hidden door. Guns wrong, ready to take down the perp. We both were stunned when we saw it. There was a man with long, black, greasy hair, with an unshaven face and fingernails so long they drove the floor. He had a hunch on his back, and he was lying in a bed full of dead mice. And on the nightstand beside him was the bloody knife he used to murder the woman with, among with some really big bags of meth. All of a sudden, the man sprung up out of the bed and said, "This is my house. My house of horrors. What are you doing in my lair? And why did you take my bride of darkness away?" Rick yells, "Get on the ground, or I will taser you." The man lets and lunged at me. Rick shot him in the chest with a taser, and he dropped screaming like a rabid dog. We took him back to the station and did some digging. Turns out he was wanted in Texas for a string of murders and kidnappings. So we contacted the police in Texas and turned him over to them. They have since torn down the old Henderson place and placed a Dollar General there. Go figure, right? Rick has since passed away, and I am the only one left to tell the story. So I am hoping this gets out there and it teaches someone to never go anywhere alone and always carry a weapon of some kind. Because the boogeyman can come for you.